Love on the High Seas, a serialized gay romance taking place on the Caribbean cruise liner, the Majestic Star. Follow along with me as I take everyone on an epic adventure with love, murder, and mystery. Penned by Ryland Mason, narrated by me, Brian Shepard.
Episode 11, Joey. It's been 3 weeks since I last saw Chance. 3 weeks of watching the ship, getting prepped with furniture, paint, bedding, supplies, crew assignments. The list just goes on and on. Of course, Johnny has been here every step of the way, always standing in the back during meetings, behind me during walkthroughs. The ship passed with flying colors when it came to her sea trials. I believe that was the only time in the 3 weeks he's been here did he smile at that news. They were impressed on how she maneuvered, how fast she was, and the overall design. I'm sure all Johnny saw and heard was dollars and cents. Today was launch day, as we were berthed at Southampton. There was to be a party on the top deck with people from the company, along with all the new crew members. We could then proceed with the boarding of passengers and begin our journey down the coast while having a pool party with live entertainment. And then it was smooth sailing, non-stop to the port of Johannesburg. From there, I am to receive an official itinerary as to where we will be sailing with this new tour. It was still early morning. Workers who were making their final touches could be seen scurrying about the ship, as I myself made a tour and met with the senior staff of each department. First up, hospitality. Heather Wilton. Heather was not only responsible for laundry services, but oversaw the stewards and stewardess and made sure passengers had what they needed in their cabins. A very nice and polite woman, no complaints or requests. Oh, you'd be surprised what new crew members ask for or want. Some even like to cause drama by complaining about something or someone. Moving on, dining. That would be Cecilia Harper. Cecilia means business. There's no room for mistakes or carelessness when it comes to serving guests. Everything had a place on the table, so you better remember where it goes. Cecilia's only complaint was the fact that she didn't get to put anything away, so she has no idea where anything is. Well, best to let her figure all that out. Next on the list is cruise director Ben Fairbanks. Fairbanks is the one who oversees both hospitality and entertainment. He's also in charge with organizing muster drill, which we'll be doing before we leave the dock. Fun. Fairbanks, how's everything going so far? You're now on a newer ship. Get lost yet? I asked jokingly. No, Captain, I have not. I would read up on the specs of the ship at night before turning in while I was sailing on the Star. By the way, how's Chance? I haven't seen him since we docked, he asked, realizing he might have asked the wrong question, considering my face dropped at the name. Chance. I haven't spoken to Chance since I left the Star. I was hoping he would have contacted me somehow, I said as I hope he got my letter, which would change everything. Or maybe he changed his mind. Well, I'm surprised, considering what happened after you left. I thought he would have spoken to you, he said with that look like he was about to spill the good stuff. Moving closer, he began to tell me what transpired on the stern while helping Shillings with the deck chairs. He even told me about the part where Johnny spoke to Chance, rudely, I might add. Now I am starting to put everything together. He did this on purpose, to get me away from Chance. I'm not sure what he thought he would have accomplished by doing this, yet somehow it worked in his favor. Now I know why Anita loves hanging around Fairbanks. He loves to gossip. Not in a bad way, just he always seems to know what's going on. He's a very nice guy. I was glad when they transferred him to this ship. Now that our discussion was finished, it was time to proceed to the engine room and check in with my new chief, while Fairbanks made his way to the lobby to prepare for the barrage of guests making their way up the gangway and into the lobby to be checked in. I wanted to be underway on time. Making my way down the service stairwell, which was a stairwell that I put in as a quick way up and down the ship. Every 2 decks, there's a doorway. It also leads down to the engine room. Very convenient. Then again, I could have just taken the elevator. Now that I've reached the bottom, I came out to what the crew have dubbed the runway. The runway is a corridor that runs from now to the engine room. It's also because the floor lights up. My second didn't agree with naming parts of the ship and thought it was foolish. Well, I seem to have had the cherry on top when I told him I dubbed my passageway as Jeffrey's Tube. Oh, you're probably saying, a what? That's what Jacobs did. So I had to explain it was a Star Trek reference. Anyway, opening the door to the engine room, I was happy to see a well-oiled machine, which sounded like she was purring, just waiting to stretch her sea legs. Of course, we had the crew, which were all checking things and wiping things down, and of course keeping busy. As they all seem to scatter when they see me. Typical. I kept heading towards Wilton's office. You heard right. Wilton. Burton. Married to, you guessed it, Heather. Chief Wilton came highly recommended and even did his training under Chief Gunner aboard the Majestic Coral. He then took it upon himself to make sure he was included with the engine design and installation. He now knows every part of these twin engines. A knock on the window, he glances up from his desk. A smile as he waved me in. Captain, surprised to see you down here. Inspection? Standing up from his desk as I walked in. Just checking in with you before we set off. We did our initial inspection yesterday, if I recall, so we are good there. How's your crew, as I have not had the pleasure of meeting anyone? Good, he said. Won't know till we get going. However, I believe I have a great team, he said, and looking out the window. Now that I have a bigger ship, there are more crew members, so learning every name, not likely. Slowly. Well, good. Was there anything else you needed or need to update me about? He shook his head no. All right, well, if there's nothing else, then I believe I'm going to head back to the bridge so we can get ready to do muster drill, I said as I shook his hand and turned to walk out. I'll be seeing you later, Chief. Have a good day, was all I said as he stood in his doorway. Yes, sir. You as well, he replied as I walked back out of the engine room and down the runway to the elevator. No Jeffrey tubes for me. Back to the bridge, as I'm sure we are filling up with passengers who are now overtaking the main lobby to check in with our lovely receptionists, who are overseen by our accommodations manager, Barbara Southerton, who seems to be flagging me down. Oh boy, I'm going to skip Barbara as she is busy with the boarding process, so our chat will have to wait. Captain, sorry to bother you, yet I was told to pass a message to you if you came back through. Here you go, she said as she smiled and handed me the note card. Opening the note card, it just simply read, Captain, I'll be on the bow. Jay. Really? He had to leave me a note to meet him? He has a walkie-talkie for a reason. Well, I guess I better go see what he wants, as I need to get this boat moving. That, and he needs to get off. With the last of the passengers being checked in, I made my way out of the lobby and down the deck towards the bow. When I finally reached the bow, I could see passengers enjoying the view from the railings. Some were even lounging out already. Too bad I'll be ruining their fun in just a little bit. As I stopped, my eyes scanned the bow. Of course, they landed on Johnny, who was looking out port towards the open sea. Johnny, what do you want? I'm trying to get this ship ready to embark on its first journey. Unless it's ship-related, there's really nothing more to talk about, I said with a stern tone. I mean it. No more of this. So you're just gonna write me off? Like yesterday's trash? Quentin meant nothing to me. It's you I want, he said, as I could just hear the lies and the desperation spewing from his mouth as he spoke. You had me, and you lost me. Oh, and not getting back. So again, we have nothing more to discuss. I turned and went to walk away when he grabbed my arm. I was quick to pull away. Keep your hands off me. I believe it's time for you to leave. I'm not interested. Get a clue, Johnny, I said as he looked angry. Oh, I see. You're still hoping for Chance. I doubt that's going to happen. Oops, I think something happened to the note you left Perkins to leave for Chance, he said as he just grinned. Now I know why he never got a hold of me. Most likely thought I didn't want anything to do with him. You left me a note? Was all I heard as I looked around Johnny to see Chance standing there next to Anita. I could have sworn I just heard the owner admit in front of people that he went into a passenger's cabin without permission and removed a personal item. Mr. Edwards, that was the wrong thing to do. Anita didn't even get to finish before he stalked off. Hopefully, off the ship. I'll catch up with you boys later, she said as she gave a wave and walked away. Of course I left you a note. There's no way I was leaving without saying a few things. I'm sorry he acted that way, I said as he just started to smile. Walking closer, I took his hands into mine. At this point, I didn't care who saw me, as there were a few lookers. I'm in love with you, Chance Whitaker. I know it sounds crazy, yet it's how I feel. If you don't, then that's okay, I said, really hoping that the feeling was mutual. You left that in a note for me, he said, sounding happy as he let go of my hands to then kiss me. A kiss that sent sparks flying through my body. Even though it caught me off guard, I still welcomed it. Sorry, had to, been dying to, he laughed, nervously, backing up and looking around to see who was watching this love exchange that was unfolding on the bow. No one. At that moment, before I had a chance to respond to this wonderful moment, I heard the radio going off saying that 0 hour is over. Passengers accounted for, and the gangway is free. Well, that means it's time to go. I hate to kiss and run, yet duty calls. I will most definitely meet up with you once we are underway. What deck are you on? I asked, only because I had an idea. Deck 8, I believe. I booked it at the last minute, he said as we started to make our way back inside the ship, and I was heading to the bridge. Just who I needed. Barbara will be changing Mr. Whitaker's cabin on 8 to my cabin. Please make sure he is escorted there so he knows where it is, I said as I handed Chance my room key. They both kind of looked at me like I was crazy. I didn't blame her, as this was absolutely frowned upon. I guess it's a good thing we don't work for those other cruise companies. I kissed Chance on the cheek as I whispered I'd see him later. Off I went to start a new cruise with my new ship. I don't think this tour will be miserable as I thought it would be.